We live? We are live. Well, there you go. What's happening, everyone? Welcome back. This is strange, isn't it? I've never done one of these on my phone before. Welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is, of course, Cameron. We are back. Game preview. Obviously, massively different to the usual game preview. The game is about an hour away from kickoff. As you can see, I'm not in Old Trafford or anywhere near Old Trafford. I'll be watching the game from the television today. Everton versus Manchester United. Manchester United versus Everton, whichever way you want to put it. Of course, an extremely difficult game of football. We've just had the team news in. Ellis Sims gets a start up front for the first time since the Merseyside derby, of course. Impressed in his substitute appearances since that game, obviously scoring against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and of course coming on and I thought doing really well against Tottenham, coming on, holding the ball up, acting like a sort of a proper number nine, and again, I think Damari Gray's done okay filling that space. I'm a sideways. I'll go that way. I thought Damari Gray's done okay filling that role, but he isn't a natural striker, and because of that, he doesn't have certain attributes that natural strikers have, and Ellis Sims does. So good to see Ellis Sims on the team sheet. As hang on, how do I get the live chat up here? There we go. Good to see Ellis Sims on the team sheet today. Obviously, no other changes other than that. Ellis Sims coming in to directly replace Abdoulaye Doucouré, who of course is suspended. I would assume it would be Alex Iwobi going into midfield to replace Abdoulaye Doucouré, and Ellis Sims going up front with Damari Gray going out wide. It could be Damari Gray and Ellis Sims up front together. However, I'm not quite sure how that would work. Two in midfield, maybe 4-4-2. I think we're more likely to see Alex Iwobi adopt that midfield role again, and Ellis Sims go up front on his own with, as I said, Damari Gray out wide. But yeah, look, obviously, it will be an extremely difficult game of football today. Going away to Manchester United at Old Trafford is never, ever easy. Their team news has come out. They've put out a strong side. I think Christian Eriksen's back on the bench for them as well for the first time in a few months, obviously after picking up an ankle injury. Harry Maguire starts for Manchester United, which is not something we've seen an awful lot recently. So hopefully that will be an advantage to Everton. Hopefully he has one of his typical games of football where he's making mistakes left, right and centre. But ultimately, look, as I've said before, Everton are away at Manchester United at Old Trafford. We haven't got the greatest record there. I think it's 10 years since we last won there. Even before that, I think we've only won once in my lifetime at Old Trafford, certainly that I can remember, and it was that game 10 years ago, Brian Oviedo scoring the winning goal. So listen, we know this one is going to be extremely difficult. I think if we can get a point out of it, it would be a really, really good point, and it sort of, I suppose, follows the same sort of pattern as the conversations we were having after the game against Tottenham Hotspur, of how important that game would have been to win. Because coming away from Old Trafford with a point is a good point in any circumstance, but had we have beaten Tottenham Hotspur, then it would have been 4 points out of them 2 games, and all of a sudden things would have been looking an awful lot better. It just adds a little bit more pressure on that game against Fulham next weekend at Goodison Park. But look, this is a game that Everton have to get something out of, in my opinion. Unbeaten in the last 4, obviously 3 of them being draws, and if we're to lose today, it would be a real disturbance to that momentum. And it's very possible that Everton don't come away with anything, but it's also very possible that Everton do come away with something today. And I remember watching Southampton play these a few weeks ago, and they weren't massively impressive whatsoever. And obviously, look, Manchester United, when they want to turn it on, can turn it on. They've gotten some hard work and wins in the last few weeks or so. The one against Brentford last time out was a hard, gritty performance and a gritty win. And, obviously they've got Marcus Rashford, who's absolutely on fire and who loves a goal against Everton anyway. So, there'd be no surprise if he gets another one today. But, ultimately it's down to Sean Dyche to set this Everton team up in the same ways that he set it up for the last, month, 2 months on the bounce, and that's to be resilient, hard to beat, work hard, battle, give everything, fight. As somebody points out in the comments there, hopefully keep 11 men on the field as well today, because getting a man sent off away from home at Old Trafford is is not what you need. So hopefully we can keep it to 11 men on the field. I'm sure we will. And as we say every week, minimise the mistakes. Minimise the mistakes, sorry. You don't want to be giving a player like Marcus Rashford a one-on-one opportunity through a silly defensive mistake. You don't want to be giving somebody like Bruno Fernandes all of the space and all of the room on the edge of the box to have a shot, or to create an opportunity, or to play a through ball in. Because these are quality players. I think Man United are currently joint third or joint fourth in the table with Newcastle. If they win, they go a few points above Newcastle, of course, before they play this weekend. Absolutely nowhere near the top two, so I don't think there's any doubt of them finishing within that top two, but certainly in a race for the top four. And there's a couple of teams that are in that race as well. So this isn't a free game for Manchester United. It's not one that Manchester United can afford to just give up and throw away and lose. It's a massive game in the context of their season as well, and of course it's a massive game in the context of our season. We simply cannot afford to lose, really, and that's quite a big statement, given we're playing Manchester United at Old Trafford. And it's a fixture that Everton have lost so many times over the years, but this season is obviously a little bit different. Similar to last season, it's obviously a little bit different, and every game that goes past is an opportunity to pick up points, and every opportunity to pick up points Everton have simply got to take at the moment. And we all know how difficult this game will be to try and win, because obviously Manchester United are again a side that are significantly better than Everton at the moment, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. It's not beyond the realms of possibility for us to get a point out of this one. Loads of people in the comments happy to see Ellis Sims start, and the Blues says, "Sup, big man, no chance Gray plays up in front of Coleman, he can't protect him." Well, that would mean it would be 2 up front then, and just 2 in midfield, and I'm not quite sure that we'll see that from Sean Dyche, because we haven't seen it before. Again, it may well happen. I'm not saying that it won't happen, but it will be difficult. CL says, "I'm a toffee up in Newcastle. I was at the game. Man United were not that good. We can beat these today." Philip says, "We have to stop conceding stupid goals. Our goal difference is shocking." And Matty says, "One thing we simply cannot do is switch off and out of possession. We need to be on it for 90 minutes. I'm happy Sims is starting. At least we have a focal point up front." Well, that's it. And I think that's the important point to make, isn't it? Is we simply cannot afford to make mistakes today. The last couple of goals we've conceded, the one against Tottenham come from a mistake, it was a penalty. The one against Chelsea, we conceded the penalty against Chelsea. The first goal was somewhat of a mistake as well. So we can't afford to do that again, because it seems at the moment like every goal we're conceding, and of course it isn't like this, because every goal in football comes from a mistake. Of course it does, because somebody is to blame somewhere on the field, but it does very much feel at the moment that every goal we're conceding is coming from our own doing. And you can't afford to do that when you've got players like Marcus Rashford, who are in absolutely unbelievable form, and Bruno Fernandes, who we know, of course, have got all of the quality in the world. You simply cannot afford to be making those silly mistakes. Everton have got to be resilient. Everton have got to battle defensively. Everton have got to be absolutely at the best today, and we've got to hope that going forward, if there's a chance, that presents itself, we can take it. Ellis Sims has got a big responsibility on his hands today. It's one thing coming on, against Chelsea with 15 minutes to go, with no real expectation on you, with, basically nothing to lose, and getting an equaliser. It's another thing leading the line against Manchester United at Old Trafford with the expectation that if a chance falls to you, you take it. Again, I don't think there's going to be any Evertonian that, if Ellis Sims gets 3 opportunities in front of goal today and misses them, that are going to sit there and say, "Oh, it's Ellis Sims, we'll let him off." It's not the case. He's got a responsibility today, and that responsibility is to lead the line, and that means that if an opportunity presents itself, he's got to be ready to take it. And that's the same, obviously, for Dwight McNeil, who's in the team, and that's, of course, the same for Damari Gray as well, who's in there. So it's a big responsibility for Ellis Sims, and I'm sure he's ready to step up and take it. One thing that I am happy about is that he is a natural out-and-out centre-forward. I said it after the Tottenham game. For the opening 30-35 minutes, the ball must have bounced off Damari Gray about 4 or 5 times because he's just not a natural centre forward. It doesn't stick to him. He doesn't quite know how to hold it up properly, whereas Ellis Sims is that. And, you know, again, I'm not saying Ellis Sims is better than Damari Gray or more suited or should be playing in front of him, but what I'm saying is he's a natural forward. He's a natural centre forward, whereas Damari Gray certainly isn't. And that means that when the ball gets fizzed into Ellis Sims, he finds it easier to hold up, he finds it easier to control, he finds it easier to use his body and use his strength, and of course he's much taller and he's seemingly much stronger as well, so that's an advantage. But look, it will be a difficult game. You know, kickoff is just under an hour away, so I look forward to you know, hopefully starting the weekend with a smile on my face and continuing the weekend with a smile on our faces. Man United can be formidable at Old Trafford, and that is something that Everton are going to have to deal with. But Man United also can make mistakes, and Man United also can be exposed. And hopefully we can, we can make the most of that today. So there you go. Just thought I'd come on, do a little bit of a quick preview for the game. Obviously we'll have all of the post-match content out as well, so don't forget to look out for that one. But big game. You know, Everton could really do with getting something. If you were to offer me a draw right now, I'd snatch your hand off for it, and then with the hope that we can go and get 3 points against Fulham at Goodison Park next weekend. If we can win this game, then obviously I'm sure we'll all be straight to the beer gardens to celebrate the Easter weekend properly. But anyway, we're going to leave it there. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new as well. Big thank you all for watching, and we'll see you later.